everyone, I'm Raíssa and I'm bringing you now a new podcast of the blog Softball Now. This Saturday morning in Natal, the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, but it really feels like 32 degrees Celsius. We have some strong winds because we can have some winds at 43 kilometers per hour, so it's really strong. People should pay attention to that when they are outside today. But it's hot, but we can have some rain occasionally. Well, today we're going to talk about the elections in the USA and compare these elections to the elections in Brazil because, as far as I can see, it's not that different. The presidential election in the USA this year is, much alike of the election in Brazil. So, first of all, I think the big difference, the greatest difference of all, is that in Brazil, when we vote for president, it's something direct. We go to the ballot and we type the number of the candidate we want, and that's it. At the end of the voting period, the court here, the Supreme Court of Elections, just has to count the votes and see who is the winner, because we don't have this division that someone won in Florida as we have in the USA, or someone that won in California and then got another number of votes. Because in the USA, as from my point of view, as for the things that I've learned about this, we have an electoral college, and these members, they will vote for a candidate after being voted by the people, the population of the country. So it's indirect elections. I don't think this is really democratic. Of course, I'm talking about this from Brazil. It's in a foreign opinion, but I think the most democratic system is that you vote directly, and that's the one that we have in Brazil. And we vote like this for mayor, we vote like this for governors of the states here, mayors of the cities, governors of the states, and we vote for like that for president, for senator, for deputies, for aldermen, and so goes on. But in the USA, it's a different system because first, people, they have a kind of a competition inside the parties to get the nomination. Of course, we have that in Brazil, but not as democratic as it is in the USA. In this case, I think this is the most democratic system, the system that the Republican and the Democrat Party, they use, that they have primary elections to decide the nominee of the candidate of the party. We don't have that in Brazil. The party just decides which one is going to represent them. Most of the cases we have that through polls. They run some polls to check the population's mood about that name or another name, and then they decide the candidate, and that's it. So the population doesn't have any way to interfere in this nomination from the party. So in that case, I think the United States have a better system than us. But the rest of it, I think Brazil is really ahead. It's really difficult to see that and to say that about the United States, because that's the biggest country when we talk about power and technology in the world. But, in Brazil, we have an electronic system. We don't have paper to vote. We don't use pencils. We just use our fingerprints to identify if we really are who we say we are. Of course, we have IDs too. And then we go to a ballot that is electronic, that is a kind of a computer with a screen and then the numbers. We just type the numbers. As we type the numbers, a picture appears with the photo of the candidate, the name of the candidate, and then the party. And if it's wrong, we have a button to correct the information. If we type something a number that doesn't exist, the screen shows that, and then we can choose if we really want to proceed voting for no one, or if we want to correct and correct and type again the number, in this case, in the correct number. And it's really fast because when elections normally extend here, they last from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on a Sunday, the first Sunday of October. And if we need to have some dispute about that, we're going to have again the last Sunday of October to vote. And when the election time to vote, the time to vote finishes, in about 2 hours, 3 hours, we have the result of the election. So it's really fast. People say it's safe. I don't know. I'm not an expert about technology, but people say it's safe and it's fast and it's really quiet during the elections here because of that. It's always on a Sunday. It's not on a busy day as it happens in the USA. And this is really strange to Brazilian people, that the presidential elections in the USA will take place on a Tuesday. Another difference that we have is that in Brazil it's mandatory. We have to vote. If we don't vote, we pay a fine. If you are a civil servant, you won't get your salary, so you have to go vote. The only people who cannot vote are people who are under 18. It's not mandatory for them, or people who are over 70 years old. Then they can decide if they want to vote or not. But the rest of the people, they have to vote. It's an obligation around here. In the USA, it's in the middle of the week. You are working and then you stop working and you go vote. But it's not mandatory, and that's funny because people still vote. That's the funny thing. In Brazil, it's an obligation, but it's on Sunday. Everybody's free to go. And in the USA, it's not an obligation, but it's during the week. It's on a busy day. So, and it is in November. Another difference that we have is that in Brazil, if a candidate can't get 51% of the votes, then we will have another election with the first two candidates to decide between them. I don't like this system because we have, it's expensive to have elections. That's the reality. It's really expensive and it takes a long time, and people get crazy during elections because they love some candidates and they hate others. So we have lots of controversy during this time. And every time that we have another election, it's very difficult that the second candidate will win the election. It's like 99% of the cases, the first one to win but not get 51%, that one is going to win the second election that will take place in 3 weeks. So I think this is the biggest difference, because in the USA it's just one election, and I love this system because you have to decide the first moment you're going to vote who you're going to vote for and why, and you have to defend that candidate. It doesn't matter if this person is going to win or not the election. It's about the ideas, and you vote for them, and that's it. But that's another difference I forgot to say, is that we vote in a computer, a kind of a computer around here. In the USA, every state has a different ballot to vote, and it's made of paper, but the organization of the names on the paper, they are different in every state, because people also vote for some laws in each state. So that's the difference, the biggest difference that I see between the USA and Brazil elections. But the thing that is really similar now is how can I tell you, it's the atmosphere of the election in the USA. Wow, I'm shocked, guys. These elections, I think, are the lowest level elections ever. People don't discuss propositions, they discuss only the past of the candidates. They discuss controversies about the candidates. They debate over who is the worst. I don't know if I can say that in English. I can't say that in Portuguese, but I'm going to say sometimes you have to vote for the least worst candidate. It's something crazy because you look at the candidates and you think both are really bad. So you have to choose among bad candidates which one you think is going to harm less the country. And that was exactly what we had in Brazil 2 years ago. And Brazil is still recovering from this. I can tell you that these elections are going to divide the USA. It doesn't matter the result, especially if Donald Trump is the winner, because we have people who love Donald Trump, and these are the people who are going to vote for him. Most of his supporters are big fans of him, but I see that Hillary Clinton is going to be voted a lot more because people don't see Donald Trump as the guy to be the president of the United States, the guy to represent the nation, than seeing her as the really best candidate for the position. So it's something like that we had in Brazil, because we had elections among Dilma, Aécio, and Marina, the three most important candidates here. And Marina was not for the second election that we had here. It was Dilma and Aécio, and the atmosphere of the elections was just like the one that is happening now in the USA, with a lot of people accusing each other, and population getting crazy, people beating friends, and friendships at risk because some of the friends love Donald Trump, some of the fans love Hillary. Just here in Brazil, it was like big fans of Dilma, big fans of Aécio, and Brazil is still recovering from that. We had an impeachment last year, this year, I don't know. This year we had the impeachment, and we still have this atmosphere that the country is divided. Now it's getting better because we see that we are in a very big crisis, a financial crisis in Brazil. The government doesn't have much more money to spend on social issues and important issues as paying civil servants and etc. So we have all this atmosphere that is happening in the USA. It's like deja vu for Brazilian people, because we had that 2 years ago. And I can tell you, my friends in the USA, that it's not going to end with the elections. You're going to experience the opposition trying to I don't know, kind of turmoil the new government, and it's gonna be really, really difficult. I just hope that to be honest, I just hope that you don't vote for Donald Trump, because for me, he's kind of a cuckoo guy, a crazy guy. He's not the person to represent a country, and every time that I think that the United States has all this power to get into wars and the atomic bomb and etc., I have to say that I'm not experiencing some peace and quiet with the chance that Donald Trump can be the president and he can have all this power in his hand. Maybe he wakes up in a bad mood and decides to explode all the planet. Wow. So please, if you don't like Hillary, just take a look at Donald Trump and see how crazy things can get with him in this position, not only to the United States, but to all the world. But that's just an opinion. Of course, we're going to see what's really going to happen on Tuesday. But I wanted to show you these differences and similarities about elections in Brazil and the USA, so we can understand both countries a little better. But I tell you, my friends, if you want to know what is going to happen in the USA, especially if Donald Trump wins. Just take a look at Brazil's situation, then you will understand. Okay, that's it, guys. I hope you have a nice weekend. I take this chance to invite you to listen to this podcast tomorrow at 10 a.m. because we're going to talk about soccer here in Natal. And if you want to talk here about light things, different things, in Portuguese, that's on Friday at 7 p.m. And of course, this talk in English that is really fast, really light, we will experience again next Saturday at 11:30. That's it. Have a nice weekend, nice week. See you there.